Adelaide 2022 was a seminal moment for both these sides. It set England on their way to becoming the first team to unify the men's white ball crowns. It sent India on their way to resetting their white ball approach. Here they are, 1.5 years later, at the same stage, in the biggest test to England's bid to become the first side to successfully defend a men's T20 World Cup crown, as well as the biggest test of India and whether they can carry home that same approach in a pressure knockout game. Welcome to Maruti Suzuki Arena, presents ESPNcricinfo Timeout, powered by DishTV. Watch show. We build up to India versus England semi-final 2 in Guyana in the company of Sanjay Manjrekar and Dasgupta. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. It was very much a battle of ideologies when they met at that last T20 World Cup semi-final. This time it feels more like a clash of a similar brand of cricket.
Yes, India has completely changed as a T20 side. And that, you're right, absolutely right. That was a wake-up call for India. They may not admit it. Both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli have never sort of confessed that, they helped India lose that semi-final. But this new India is a completely different India. What's also good for India is that England is looking a little weaker than they were a couple of years back. So that just helps India's cause.
In that sense, this does become the biggest test of India's resolve, or how much they've bought in to this new culture, because it's one thing doing it in the other games, the pressure of a knockout game, can they execute the same way?
Absolutely, there's no two ways about it. Under pressure, because India has been playing semi-finals, consistently for ages now, but it's always been that knockout game, and how they play in a knockout game, that's been the question, and it hasn't been going India's way. But again, like you rightly said, this is the actual test in a knockout situation. Are you still going to back yourself playing the way you have? And I completely agree, it's the other way around now. India is playing a certain brand of cricket. Unfortunately for England, it just seemed like they're still not convinced with their right combination. They started off with an extra batter, they went into with an extra bowler. Finally, last game, they got that mid path where they got Chris Jordan to balance both. But it doesn't look that English side which won those World Cups in white ball cricket. I'm not still convinced with their approach so far.
So what to you could be the phases or the passages in this game when India bat that will most challenge their approach and their intent?
I see everyone batting exactly the same way, led by Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli is a little bit of a worry because he hasn't got the runs, but he's straight committed to this approach of taking risk and doesn't worry about getting out. Whether he'll continue to do that in the semi-final, because this is a guy who has taken up the responsibility on the big stage. He feels that he's the guy who's got to do it, plus he's short of runs. So if he bats a little differently, and the thing to look for is if he's hit a 4 or a 6, and if he picks a single, then you know that he's batting a little differently. The others will play exactly the same fashion. The only thing to see there with people like Pant and Surya Kumar Yadav, Dubey and Hardik, whether the nerves of the semis will get them to think that, fraction of a second before hitting that big shot. Because when you're playing the league matches, it's a lot easier. But I expect them to play in that same fashion, and that's why I believe India is a stronger team and has a better chance to win the title. You've got the big match players who will play like that freely on the big stage. That's Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Pant, Hardik, and Shivam Dubey, I think, is growing in confidence at the right time.
I'm glad you bring that up, because 66 runs off 66 balls in 6 innings. It's been a devilish campaign for Virat Kohli so far. But his resolve, when we talk about this approach being tested, he knows that there is a template which delivered big runs in knockout games consistently, but that is exactly the opposite of the template India now operate in.
True.
That becomes a big challenge here in this game.
Obviously it is, because but having said that, the setup of that team, of this Indian team, has changed. If you look at, let's say, a year ago, the focus would always be on the top 3 contributing. How much has the top 3 contributed? But this Indian team is not, it seems like it's not thinking on those lines. It's like, what, we've got 8 batters. Let's see what all 8 batters can do, and not just the top 3. So I think that basic change in the mindset would also kind of unshackle a lot of players of that mindset, of taking the responsibility, playing deep into the innings. The whole concept of approaching a T20 inning seems to have changed. And again, semi-final knockout game, it's going to be a big test where they continue with it or not, with that mindset. But having said that, listen, that, okay, you said 66 of 66, we've got to give the caveat of the pitches that played on and stuff like that, so on and so forth. But it's good to see that even after not scoring as many runs, so last innings was a great example, let's say, or the innings before, where he could very well, because he was in a position, India kind of had already kind of qualified for the semis, he could have played that kind of an innings. So the fact that he did not, he still tried to play his shots, tells you that this team is more than just those top three batters.
He's never played a men's T20 World Cup knockout game where he hasn't hit a 50, but you'd imagine Virat Kohli will happily trade a 50 for a knockout win, which India have been searching for so many years when it comes to this competition. Let's talk conditions now. This semi-final takes us to Guyana, which is a venue that hasn't been used in a while. They hosted 5 group stage games, the last of which was on the 8th of June. Only one day game so far, which was right at the start of the tournament. It saw Papua New Guinea push West Indies all the way, and West Indies eventually chased down 137 with only 6 balls to spare. When you look at the conditions that we can expect, Guyana, not just in this tournament, but also traditionally has been a spin-friendly venue. Does that suit one team more than the other?
Absolutely. And perfect conditions for India, because India have got some quality spin. They've got 2 left-arm spinners. And if the pitch is going to be really kind of a turner, then Jadeja as well comes to the fore. He's been a bit cold. So Akshar Patel, in-form Akshar Patel, playing the best T20 cricket of his life. Kuldeep Yadav, Bumrah on a turner and slow pitch and whatever will still be of great value. So it will suit India. And the best thing is the England batters won't like a turning pitch against India. They are missing Ben Stokes. Now just put Ben Stokes in this English team and you're looking at a completely different challenge. Yes. So yeah, Guyana will, I think, help India greatly. And nice to see this World Cup has really traveled quite a bit. We've been in the US, which is North America. Then we've been in the Caribbean. And now this match in South America.
Those 2 slow left-armers, like Sanjay brings up, Ravindra Jadeja included, assume a great role given how right-hand heavy this England top 6 is.
Befinitely yes, and especially if obviously what we're expecting the pitch to be on the slower side makes it that much more important. And yeah, I mean, listen, Jadeja's had a below par tournament so far, and he's looked a little low on confidence, and also at times even game time it seems, in terms of bowling overs, number of overs that he's bowled. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be important. If it's a 150, 150, 160 kind of a pitch, day game, left-handers, like you said, only Moeen Ali and maybe Sam Curran. They might use Sam Curran a little higher in the order just to negate that maybe. But even otherwise, I mean, generally, obviously he would have better numbers against right-handers, but he's all right bowling to left-handers as well. So that shouldn't make much of a difference, especially if it's on the slower side, that pitch. So it makes a lot of difference, 12 overs. And like Sanjay mentioned, they're batters, right? And that's where India has an advantage. Indian batters, even if it's on the slower side, have those softer skills as well. I'm not too sure whether the English batters, and especially the middle
like
orders,
Johnny Bairstow
exactly,
and Harry Brook.
I still would say Harry Brook would be the key player in terms of if it's on the slower side, you have Harry Brook, who plays a lot of red ball cricket, still does. So he still would be the main batter in that middle order. But apart from that, not too many of those batters would have the softer skills to handle spinners on a slowish track.
Now, if spin does play a big role, we can't ignore what England have in their own ranks. Adil Rashid, so good for so long. Liam Livingstone, a bowler they haven't been averse to using. Both of them played a big role in that Adelaide semi-final a couple of years ago. And there's also Moeen Ali, who you can expect will play a big role with the presence of so many left-handers in India's lineup.
Yes, but this is new India. I mean, Liam Livingstone in that semi-final may have bowled 3 or 4 overs for hardly anything, because there was this belief that we've got to keep wickets in hand and can't get out, and he thrived on that. So I don't see that much quality in the spin attack. India managed Adam Zampa without a fuss. Adil Rashid is not, I keep saying in T20 cricket, Rashid Khan is the only guy that the Indian batters will respect, and he showed his performance against India in the way he bowled economically, getting 3 wickets. I don't think this quality of spin with Moeen, Liam Livingstone, Rashid is going to be an issue. Plus, Moeen comes in, there's always going to be a right-hander facing him.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the beauty of this batting lineup. And that is another thing that India have corrected. In the 2023 World Cup, they had 6 right-handers before a left-hander came in at number 7. Now, not once I think we've seen, apart from Virat and Rohit when they bat together, all the more reason that they shouldn't be batting together for too long.
On a slower surface, which set of pacers do you think will be more effective?
I'm going to go with Indian pace attack. I mean, leaving Bumrah aside. I mean, listen, he's absolutely brilliant. So irrespective of conditions, he's going to do his job. Arshdeep, good pace off. Hardik, yes, he's gone for plenty in the last game, but I think on a slowish track, he could be very effective with the pace off, and also the fact that the length that he bowls, back of length, could be a little up and down. This surface, apart from spin, we are also expecting this to be a little variable in terms of bounce as well. On the other side, you have Jofra, doesn't bowl too many pace off. Chris Jordan, I guess this surface might suit him. A slowish surface. Reece Topley, yes, but does not bowl too many overs. He's generally in the bowls 3 overs in the first 6, doesn't bowl too many in the death or the middle overs.
Sam Curran they might use.
Sam Curran they might use, yes. Sam Curran they might use. Yeah, it's a difficult one, I guess if you're looking from a bowling perspective, I'd say India's got a stronger spin attack. But pace attack, there's not much to kind of differentiate between these two sides.
And that's actually a good point, because if at all you have to nitpick and just try and find a chink in India's armour, it's in the seam bowling. Bumrah is special and he's made life easier for all the others. Arshdeep has been good so far, but Hardik in the last couple of games, I think his confidence as a seam bowler, bowling the 4 overs, may be down a little bit. So that is where maybe England will be able to compete. But we've got Bumrah.
Yeah, those 4 overs, which are a cheat code for India. Final question. Which England players are the biggest threat for India in this game?
Butler and Salt.
So
I love Phil Salt, his ability. Johnny Bairstow at Guyana may not be as dangerous. And Butler's thing is, he sort of stays quiet for a while and then suddenly explodes with a big innings, and he got 18 not out. Had the match gone on longer, he would have got 100. So he's the guy who will get the big score. So these two at the top.
You pick out a bowler.
Bowler, I think Adil Rashid rather, is one guy you got to be a little mindful of, because again of the pitches and stuff like that. That's one. But again, just going back to that, Jos Buttler is such an important cog in that wheel, not just because of his ability, but also the experience that he has of playing against Indian bowling. Over the years in the IPL, he's played so much against these bowlers. That needs to come to the fore for England as well, and that might. And also the other batter I would take the name here is Harry Brook here, because if in the middle overs, especially when the spinners are bowling, he's one batter who knows how to play spin and kind of has those softer skills as well. But bowling wise, Adil Rashid would one guy.
See, I think Australia is a much stronger team than England, and India recently beat them. I don't think there's anyone quite like Travis Head in that England, the kind of innings that he played. So after beating Australia, India will be really fancying their chances against this England side.
All right then, setup complete. Thank you so much, Sanjay, Deep, for your time. Been 10 years since India made the final of the Men's T20 World Cup. Can they end that run? Coverage and our build-up to the game will start just around toss time, so be sure to join us then on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPNcricinfo Timeout, powered by DishTV. Watch it.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक OTT के दाम पे सारे OTT शान से।
Watch